I think the cliche thing an athlete would say is no pain, no gain. You just gotta be very resilient. You just gotta really commit to being an athlete, not just doing running. But I think I was very prideful even as an athlete. So I didn't really follow a strict diet. I just did it out of my passion, and it kept fluctuating.
Yeah.
So even as an athlete, I don't think my mental strength was really there. It was just like, oh yeah, it's something fun I do, and I just went with it.
Yeah. Okay. So you're an athletic coach now. What's that like? What is it like being an athletic coach? Always been curious.
Yeah. So now that I'm aware of how foolish I was as an athlete, I don't want my juniors to repeat the same mistake. And I'm very appreciative of my head coach because he shares this philosophy as well, that no pain, no gain. Like when it really comes down to it, it's all the hard trainings, all the seemingly routine stuff you do that will pay off by that 0.1 millisecond in tournaments, in competitions. So we really push the athletes sometimes to a point of vomiting, and that's good. Because if you don't stretch yourself, how are your muscles going to grow? I remember this one phrase that my coach always says to me, that you always have to be the slowest to slow down. And that was pretty profound. Because you can start however fast you want, but you just gotta persevere on. You just gotta keep on keeping on until you reach the finishing line.
Yeah. So how long have you been into athletics?
Since I think 5 to 6 years.
Wow, okay.
Throughout my high school.
5 to 6 years old. Is it?
Oh no, 5 to 6 years
okay.
from now.
Right, okay. So how do you think that played a part in your development as a person?
Right. So for one, it really taught me what it meant if I were to commit myself to one thing. Because even though I wasn't fully consistent with it, I know how much it would take for me to take it very, very seriously. So right down to what you eat, or what you do on a daily basis, what time you sleep, what are some of the daily habits you need to have, you need to stop doing and you need to start doing. It's a whole lifestyle change just so you can make a new personal record for your 100 meter. It's a lot of commitment. So all of that just for a 0.5 second improvement. It really tests how far you can go And in that sense, it taught me this that if I really want something badly, it's not gonna come easy. The opportunity cost is gonna be very, very hard.
Do you think that was very ego boosting as a teenager?
Oh yes, man. So bit of context, I was in Help International School. And since it's international school, got a lot of Guilo, mix of Guilo and Asians, right? So sometimes since we are more small, I would think more than all the SMK students, a bit of achievements here and there, and they'll be like, wow, Bryan, wow, quite king are you? Where I think if I was in SMK, I'll be pretty mediocre only. So that was true for my running. I think ever since I was in year 7 or 8, which is Form 1 or Form 2, I think I was really fastest in school. And they always look to me like, oh, Bryan, the sprinting guy, Usain Bolt in HIS. So ego boosting in a sense where it gave me a lot of reputation. Not so much for the girls, but more for the guys. So everywhere I go, I'll have like a gang with me. And oh wow, honestly looking back, I think I treated them as like, what do you call that, subordinates? Yeah, I was very selfish very self-centered, very self-absorbed. I think I only had them as friends to serve myself. It was very utilitarian thinking. Even though I could pull off the whole false humanity look.
Yeah. You definitely don't seem that way right now. So was there like a turning point? Like what happened in the middle of all that?
So amidst amidst all this athletics stuff, right, I also had my girlfriend. That lasted for a good around 4 years. So she was non-Christian, and yeah, in that way you can tell how much of a Christian I was lah. I was nominal all my life, man. I think I like the points where I got interested in Christianity was only to either boost my self-ego or it was just a therapeutic escapism lah. So sometimes I would suddenly quote a verse here and there to my non-Christian friends like, "Oh, not bad, you're a pretty profound person, Brian. You're a bit westernized also, Like when you say when you quote English stuff to Asians, like wow, very right, So there was that. Sometimes I'll go to it as kind of my small personal getaway with all my personal responsibilities. Yeah, amidst this also, a bit of context. For the past recent years, my family has been in a financial crisis. It's getting better now, but it was so severe that I was very indifferent about it. And in that way, my non-Christian girlfriend gave me the avenue for me to just release, whether it was sexual desires, emotional, psychological, mental, the whole lot. So really, she was more than just a girlfriend. She represented what my future held for me. And I remember committing to her a lot, like giving her gifts, because in her, I saw my future. In her, I saw what my 20 or 30 years of life represented for me. So I didn't hold back, whether financially, emotionally, mentally, because I was really putting everything already. She was gonna be my permanence. I never saw breakup as an option. She was gonna be my lifelong commitment lah. And I sort of felt that from her as well throughout the 4 years until we graduated. So we had it was like the classic high school cliche relationship lah. Everyone was like, "Wow, when you guys getting married? How many babies?" Stuff like that. And that was until we graduated. Then I went to Indy. So she was very rich, not like me. She went to UK just for A levels. Think of that, right? And we had LDR for a while, long distance relationship, from I think 2019 June until around 2019 October. So LDR lasted for a while. Went pretty okay, a bit shaky, but was happy for her that she got new experiences here and there. Then she suddenly asked for a break. I was like, "Oh, walao, okay lor." So because amongst every factor in my life, she was the one. My non-Christian girlfriend was the one that was indisputable lah.
Yeah.
Like, wow, she memang cannot compromise one. Can compromise on athletics, can compromise on family, or even football, but not her, man. Never, nothing, not even myself. I'll compromise on myself for her. So when she asked for a break, I was like, "Oh, fine. You want some time off? Sure, I'll give you some time." But of course, I was a bit suspicious already. Like, "Hey, what's up? I thought we were very on for this relationship. I thought we were gonna commit to this to work." Then that was around 2019 October, and funny enough, okay, her birthday was at the end of November, so I was already planning to get her a pair of Ultra Boosts. Okay, those of you sneakerheads out there will know that thing cost me like 700-800, man, and I was wanted to surprise her. So I bought the pair already. That was around end of October. Gave it to her sister. Then she flew back to UK in time for her birthday. So we broke up. Technically she dumped me before her birthday. That was like the mid of November. So I was like, "But you still have my Ultra Boost. Aiya, might as well save that 700-800, right?" But too bad lah. it was with her already. She showed appreciation for it. But it was a very mutual thing lah.
Yeah.
For her, it ended pretty well. For me, I cried like a baby for at least 2 months, I think, 1 or 2 months.
Yeah.
But it ended on good terms lah, at least from her side.
Yeah.
I didn't want to bring up to her a lot also. So she said stuff like, "Bryan, we've been together for 4 years. We are like a tree. We plant deep roots in each other already. Now it's time to let us fly. If you love something, you gotta set it free." So I was like, "Okay lor, you said that me now lor." That was how it happened. That's how it ended.
What did it do for your ego?
Wow. It crushed me. It crushed me a lot. By God's grace, right, that was also when I was first getting to know CRC more and more. So that was close to the end of 2019, right? And a bit of context as well. In 2018, in 2018, my brother went to WWSC, and my brother brought the family to CRC throughout 2019. But I was still with my girlfriend, so when I went to Matthew series, I was like, okay, cool church, long sermons, quite faithful, okay. That's it lah. Didn't matter much to me since I still had my ex. But I could still remember here and there people were reading the Bible with me. I think David called for a while, GFS 1 or 2, Romans 5. That helped me a bit, but not until my ex dumped me. So, in terms of my ego, it contributed a lot more, way more than my family or even my athletics. Sure, my family crushed me for a bit through the financial crisis. Sure, my athletics also, because I wasn't getting very active already, close to my graduation. Whatever still had my ex. But my ex, when that happened, oh my gosh. Because again, right, it wasn't just a relationship. It was my future, it was me. It was my identity. So when she left, it's like my soul left me. Like, I didn't have a core in my being anymore.
Yeah.
So, yes, it tore my ego, but at the same time, it really taught me how much it takes to live for a person. Theologically speaking, it taught me how to live practically, relationally. And that was so much more, because living for a person is very active, living for a person is lifelong, and living for a person needs radical commitment.
So you said that the sermon series back then helped you or got you to understand what was going on better. Like, how did it help you?
That was true for God's story. For Matthew, not quite. So because of that whole dumping moment, that was really like the climax of my draw. I'm thinking of like Israel Old Testament now. So right after that, I got into Reformed Theology for a while. I was introduced to it from CRC. All the guys from CRC lah. Then I kept remembering like Pastor Robin, he kept saying something like Calvinism, Calvin Klein, like what's up with this, man? So I got into it. I was very interested to it, and I got this book by John Piper, 5 Points. And whoa, when I was reading through it, I think 2019 December, wow, it just opened my eyes. I didn't know there was such phenomena as man-centered Christianities out there. And that was what Calvinism clarified to me. So that started it, and throughout 2020, I was in TEG1. It's like a foundation year for TEG students. So TEG1, we've got story, dude, it was like a luxurious buffet every week in, week out. So TEG1, all the systematics, God story series, all the BT, biblical theology stuff, combined together, oh my gosh, like whoa, this is amazing, man. Because from the sermon series, I could understand where the TG1 material were from. It wasn't just theology here and there. It wasn't just opinions of random individuals. It was, all of them had biblical roots, biblical basis. And that was so organic, because I think for the first time in my Christian life, I finally saw how consistent everything was. Right from theology, what we knew and what we learned out of the Bible, to right down to practical living. And it really worked together, right? Because throughout 2020 was also where I changed my lifestyle here and there. Slowly but gradually, definitely. So when I was introduced to different Reformed concepts like Semper Reformanda, Coram Deo, all these concepts, it was so encouraging, so sanctifying for me to see how how succinct the Reformers captured the theology of the Bible. It was just awesome. And especially seeing how people from the past, like 500, 600 years ago, up till now, and then people from the Bible's time, like about 2,000 years ago, more than that, all of us, we are just seeing one cohesive reality and living for one same person. Whether it's Malaysian or people from the East, West. It was crazy lah. I finally saw a life where the radical commitment is objective. I'm saying this because I had kind of a radical commitment for my ex back then, but it was purely subjective. It was only true insofar as I deemed it to be true, It wasn't true for you, Lucas, or anyone else. But now for me to be radically committed to this, it actually has an objective basis. Actually has true permanence to it.
Yeah.
It wasn't dependent on me. It was external from me and through me. So that was amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Then what happened after that? After this whole mind-blowing experience, the BT series and BG1?
Oh. So that taught me also the binary nature of Christianity, and that really got me into serving. Whether it's in different contexts in my life, personally, or myself as a college student, or even in CRC, as now my church. I saw that if I wasn't actively committed into building God's ministry, then I would be actively committed to building my ministry. It was that. It was this or that lah. There was no in between lah. If I was passive in one thing, confirm I'll be active in another one. I don't think anyone can hide from that. I don't think I could ever hide from that as well. So when it came to active ministry, active serving, now I'm still a membership candidate. I also serve here and there as an usher, or just part of the weekly roster. But also there's also personal evangelism going on within my TEG context. So that was from what? I think mid of 2020 up till now. I think even in ministry it taught me a lot, because it wasn't just a change in lifestyle. It also introduced me to how complicated theology was, or how complicated the Christian life was. More than just doctrines on the paper. I think I think in terms of modeling, right, that is a very key element when it comes to learning theology or living the Christian life. I'm saying this because when I started to be more and more active in ministry, I saw how different Reformed theology, let alone theology, was when I learned it through individuals, through real people. So that got me out of my immature self, right? Because for quite a few months, I think the early 2020 days, I was naive in a sense where, the more Bible I knew, then the more Christian I would be. The more articles and TGC, T4G sermons I listened to, podcasts and whatever, then the more sanctifying I would be. So that was all true, but at the same time, if all of that took place without the context of a local church, it surely wouldn't have happened lah. And I think that exposed my individualism as well. So I'm saying this because I think modeling gives the shape of theology, and I could only learn that through committing to a local church like CRC, from right from just my TEG mates, my peers, right up to the pastors lah. Sorry, it's a bit hard for me to capture this, because of a better word, there's this invisible reality that's going on that is so real. So I learned stuff from the Bible, right? It's all amazing stuff. So what's an example? I guess I did Solid for a while with Ruben Chua, the musician man. So he taught me Romans throughout the Solid book, and when we're going through Romans together, it reached the climax in Romans, at the end of Romans 11. Romans 11, 33 verse 36. Like, whoa. I was thinking, I thought theology is supposed to be very composed one, very, like, a bunch of professors here, in seminary, let's get down to business with all our quotes, or research here, Google Docs, Google document. But Paul seems to be very real here. Paul seems to be like a human here. Like, oh, how inscrutable are your ways? Like, what? You got emotions, one, bro? And it was really profound also, because that was right after the election, right? Romans 9 to 11. And for me to see Paul just being in awe of God in this way, in this very coram deo sense, from there, I look to people like Ruben, everyone in church lah. Those who ministered to me, especially like throughout in TG1, David Kwong and Alden, and also in Inti, Joao Lo. Men like that, faithful men of the word. I looked at Paul, I looked at people here in my life, real people, not that Paul wasn't real, like these people who are just like me, Chinese Malaysians, grew up almost like me also, like SMK or whatever, and now they are Romans 11, 33 verse 36 in their lives. And so, when it got to Romans 12, where the only acceptable worship is a lifelong one, I didn't just see that from Romans. I saw it through CRC's Google Sheet weekly roster. I saw it through people from all ages, from those Sunday schoolers, right up to Chinese-speaking aunties, just giving their all for CRC, more than that for God. And that was really real for me, because things weren't just theoretical, things got real lah for CRC, because yes, it has taught me theology, but more than that, it has showed me the side of what practical sanctification looks like if Jesus was here.